Hi, this is the Hebrew lesson. It's our 5th oral lesson, and we're going to focus quite carefully on Bahad Kafath in this lesson, and I'll be pointing things out to you as we go a bit more slowly than in previous lessons, because the rules of Bahad Kafath are a little bit difficult for a non-Semitic speaker to get used to, and so whenever we hit a Bahad Kafath thing, I'm going to point it out. The first word we have, so write it down in the left hand side, is cup, C-U-P, cup, and this is the word kos, kos. The first letter, of course, is a Bahad Kafath letter, and it starts the syllable off, so it's k, not ch. It's got a dagesh lene, a weak dagesh, which means it makes it go from ch to k, but it doesn't double it into kk. It's not kkos, it's kos, not kkos. So that dagesh is not doubling the sound of a letter, merely changing it from a mute, from an aspirated into a mute. So it was ch, which is aspirated, and now it's k, which is a mute. Kos, kos. So press pause and write this down. The word the cup, however, the word the, ha, requires a long syllable, and the way it gets that is, in most cases, by doubling the following letter, and the first letter then goes to the first syllable, and the second to the second. So hak, kos, hak, kos, the cup, the cup. First question for you to answer: hakam, hakkos, po, kam, hakkos, po. Now, one way we can tell the interrogative ha from the definite article is that the interrogative ha doesn't take a dagesh, so it's not hakkam, it's hakkam, and hakkos, we can hear it's the definite article because the k is doubled. Hakkos, hakkam, hakkos, po, kam, hakkos, po. Aye, hakkos, hakkos, sham. Ei, hakkos, hakkos, po. The next question has got a Bahad Kafath issue, and the first is hava. Now the root is bo, starts with the beth, and because it has a vowel in front of it, it's hava, not haba. So hava, he, or shav, hu. Ba'a, he. And then the answer, ba'a, the syllable starts with the beth, and so it's b. Ba'a, not va'a. But it's hava'a, and the answer, ba'a. Havaha, he, or shav, hu. And the answer, ba'a, he. Our next word is bean, B-E-A-N, bean, write that down, bean. And the Hebrew is pol, pol. Here it is, pol, and it starts with a Bahad Kafath letter, so it's not fol, but pol. And it's not a dagesh forte, it's not pol, it's simply a dagesh lene, changing it from f into p. Pol. Write that down and press pause. Now, interestingly, Israelis have a dish which they call fool, which is beans, a type of bean. This is Arabic. You cannot have, in Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, a word that starts with f. It has to start with p. And so it has to be pol, not Fool. The same applies to the quintessential Israeli dish, falafel. Israelis say falafel because it's an Arabic word. If it were a Hebrew word, and if it were actually an Israeli food and not an Arabic food, then it would be falafel, but it's not. It's falafel. And that immediately tells us that it's a loan word, not a native biblical Hebrew word. There we go. So, Paul, a bean, the bean, that has a dagesh forte, which means that the p is doubled. Hap, Paul. Hap, Paul. The bean. Hap, Paul. Now, a slightly ridiculous question. Our questions are a bit strange because we are somewhat limited in our vocabulary this early on in the course. Halein, hap, Paul. Po. Lane, hap, Paul. Po. Does the bean spend the night here? The bean spends the night here. So a ridiculous question, but we can still learn some grammar from it. Halein, hap, Paul. Po. Lane, hap, Paul. Po. Ye, lane, hap, Paul. Lane, hap, Paul. Sham. Or we could answer, Ye, lane, hap, Paul. Lane, hap, Paul. Po. Our next word is the word for dove, D-O-V-E. It can also mean an order or an arrangement. And the word is tor. Tor. This is also a word that starts with a letter that is one of the bahath kafath, and that's the letter tav. So it's not Thor, but it is tor, and it's not a dagesh forte, it's not tetor, it's a dagesh lene, simply going from th to t. Tor. Press pause and write it down, and notice the letter, the taf has got a little foot at the bottom of it. Tor. The dove, or the order, or the arrangement, is hat tor. Dagesh forte, the t is doubled. Hat tor. The dove. Hat tor. Anna shav hat tor. Shav hat tor. Po. An rats hat tor. Rats hat tor. Sham. Now the next verb, gur, means to dwell or to live. This is also a bahath kafath word. And so it's not going to be hagar, but hachar. Hachar hat tor sham. Gar hat tor sham. I'll repeat that. Hachar, or hagar, and the answer, gar. Some people prefer to pronounce it j and g. Hajar hat tor sham, and then gar hat tor sham. There's some dispute about the aspiration of the letter gimel, g, r, or g, j. The next word, ba, once again, hava, and the answer, ba. So, hava hat tor po, ba hat tor po. Remember that it's hava because it's a bahath kafath letter, and it has a vowel in front of it, so it's hava, not haba. And the answer, ba, has not got a vowel in front of it. It begins the syllable with no vowel in front of it, so it's ba. Next question. H0013 does the dove sing. My apologies. H0013. And the answer, shar hat tor. I'll repeat that. Hashar hat tor. Shar hat tor. Aye hat tor. Hat tor po. Now, the letters aleph and ngayin and resh cannot be doubled after the definite article ha. So to lengthen the syllable of the ha, something else happens. What happens is that the vowel is lengthened instead. So instead of ha, it becomes ha. So we're going to look at an example here. The word for light, L-I-G-H-T, begins with an aleph. And that word is or. Here it is, or, meaning light. So if we want to say the light, we can't double the aleph because it does not take the dagesh forte. So to make the ha into a heavy syllable, a long syllable, a heavy one, we do this. We make the ha have a long ah sound. Ha-or, ha-or, the light, ha-or. You can write that down, the light. Press pause and write it down, ha-or. And that vowel point underneath the ha is the sign for the long ah, a long a. The next question. Hashav ha-or po. Shav ha-or po. Hava ha-or po. Ba ha-or po. Now notice lots of varad kafath. It's hava and then it's po, because po has got a resh in front of it here. Hava ha-or po. And the answer, ba ha-or po. Aye ha-or. Ha-or sham. Ana rats ha-or. Rats ha-or po. Our next word is witness, W-I-T-N-E-S-S, witness, and that begins with an ayin, ad, ad. Now, a modern Hebrew Israeli would say ad, but an ancient Israeli, an Israelite, would not say ad, they would say av, because there's no dagesh in the daled at the end. Av, and that's how we will be pronouncing it. Av, witness, av. Now, the witness, we have to lengthen the ha, because we can't put a dagesh in the ayin. So it's ha-av, ha-av, the witness. Aye ha-av, where is the witness? Aye ha-av, ha-av, sham. Ana rats ha-av. Rats ha-av po. Our next word is the word for and that is w. W. So write this down, w and. Modern Hebrew has got something in common with Latin, that the medieval and sort of post-medieval pronunciation of Latin the Latin w sound became a v. And this thing happened in Hebrew as well, that the w in some pronunciations became a v. The Iraqi Jews kept it as w, and so did some others. But European Jews and many other Sephardic Jews in North Africa, it turned into a v. But we're going to pronounce it in accord with the classical biblical pronunciation and keep it as w. So that means and. Now, w itself has got a slight vocalic quality to it. So a barath kafath following it, you'll see what happens in a moment. Eid wecher. Where is a witness and a non-Jew, a stranger or a foreigner? Now it's not weger, but wecher. Eid wecher. Ger we'aid po. I'll repeat that. Eid wecher. Ger we'aid po. Now the next question has got a ha, meaning the, and so it's aye hag ger we ha'aev. Where is the foreigner and the witness? Aye ha hag ger we ha'aev. Hag ger we ha'aev po. Or we could say aye hag ger we ha'aev. Hag ger we ha'aev sham. Our next word has got some barath kafath going on inside it. And a modern Israeli would say doda, but in biblical Hebrew, it's this. Dodha. Dodha. And the reason for that is the barath kafath. The dalet in the first takes its dagesh lene, becoming d. But the second dagesh has got, even though it begins the syllable, da, has got a vowel in front of it. And so the rule is that if it begins a syllable without a vowel in front of it, it takes its dagesh. But if it begins a syllable with a vowel in front of it, it doesn't. So do tha, do tha, and aunt, A-U-N-T. And the aunt had dodha, doubling the dagesh because it had the dalet, because it has the dagesh forte. Had dodha, the aunt. Haratz had dod, or had dodha. Ratza had dodha. Or you could answer Haratz had dod, had dodh. Apologies, keep slipping into modern Hebrew pronunciation. Haratz had dodh, or had dodha. Ratz had dodh. E had dodh, w had dodha. Had dodh, w had dodha, sham. An ratza had dodha. Ratza had dodha. 4. I'll repeat that. An ratza had dodha. Ratza had dodha. 4. Now notice dodha ends in an R sound. So the P of po becomes 4. Ratsa had dodda for. Hatsam had dodd or had dodda. Tsama had dodda. Or we could answer Hatsam had dodd or had dodda. Tsam had dodd. Harava had dodda. Rava had dodda. Our next word is friend, F-R-I-E-N-D, friend, and that is rea. Rea. You can write that down. Resh, ayin, rea. Friend. Now, because resh does not take the dagesh forte, it can't be doubled. So what happens is the ha for the is lengthened. And so we have this. Harea. Harea. The friend. Harea. You can write that down. Press pause and write it down. Harea. Questions. Mizan. Now this is dun, to judge. Because mi ends in the sound of a vowel. Mi, it's mizan, not mi dan. So mizan, because it's bahad kafath. Mizan ha rea or hagger. Dan ha rea. Or we could say Dan hagger. And here we can see the difference quite clearly between a word that takes the dagesh forte, hagger, Dan hagger, or Dan ha-rea. Miva hat tor or has sus. Ba has sus. Mi dash. Now notice here we are applying bahad kafath. So mi ends in a vowel. The dalet of dash is a bahad kafath. So it's mi dash, not mi dash. Mi dash. Ha rea or ha aev. Dash ha'av. Now remember that if we have an interrogative ha before a guttural, it becomes he, and here we have orts, meaning to hurry. So he arts ha'ra for Hayats harea po. Arts harea po. I'll repeat that. Hayats harea po. Arts harea po. Ana dash harea. Dash harea sham. And note ana ends in an a sound, and so the following dagesh of dalet is missing. So it's not with a dagesh at all. It's ana dash, not ana dash. Ana dash harea. Dash harea sham. An dash. Here we have the same word, dash, but this time it has its dagesh because the word before ends in a consonant, an, unlike ana. So ana dash and an dash. An dash ha-re'a. Dash ha-re'a. Po. Dash ha-re'a. Po. Now the letters h and ch, hey and cheth, also don't take the dagesh forte. They are regarded as always having a dagesh forte because they are strong, or they are thought to be strong. And so ha doesn't change. There's no doubling of the ha and the ch, and the first consonant ha of the definite article doesn't lengthen either. That vowel does not lengthen. So hon means wealth, W-E-A-L-T-H. We can write that down, W-E-A-L-T-H. And here's the word hon with a final nun, hon, wealth. Now this word begins with a h, and the h does not take a dagesh. It takes a dot in it sometimes at the end of a word, meaning it's pronounced forcibly, but that's not a dagesh, that's something else. So hon and the wealth is written as this: ha-hon, ha-hon, the wealth, ha-hon. Questions. Hashav ha-hon po. Shav ha-hon po. Aye ha-hon. Ha-hon sham. Or we could say aye ha-hon. Ha-hon po. An rats ha-hon. Rats ha-hon po. That's a slightly metaphorical question, I suppose. Where does the money run to? An rats ha-hon, or the wealth run to? Rats ha-hon po. Harats ha-hon sham. Rats ha-hon sham. And that brings us to the end of this lesson. As you can see, Bahad Kafath takes a bit of thought, but it's not that difficult once you get used to it. My problem as a modern Israeli speaker is to take care not to pronounce things like a modern Israeli, because the pronunciation is quite different. Okay, bye.